All right, here we go to the second game. Short turnaround with lineups, which almost always happens. And I usually complain about it, so sorry about the complaint. And here we go. Goldbeck is going to start things off for the Blue Devils. And strike 1 to Goldbeck. Kind of let you watch a little bit while I get things taken care of here. There's strike 2 right through there. The pitcher for is Jack Bland for the Red Devils. There's a ball headed into left field. The left fielder takes care of that for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up Basler. There's a foul ball right back at us. There's a strike. And a ground ball headed at the first baseman. He's up with it over to the bag and a 3 unassisted ground out. Talpa takes care of that one. It's going to bring up Mervosh. Mervosh steps in with 2 outs and nobody on. That's a little bit low for ball 1. There's a strike called. There's another strike called. So 1-2 the count. There's a ball headed to center field. That's taken care of by Ayers. So 3 up and 3 down. And we go to the bottom half of the first, no score. All right, to the bottom of the first we go. Mason Davenport is on the mound for the Blue Devils. He's from Tonganoxie, Kansas. Clark, Roosh, and Talpa scheduled up for the Red Devils. That's up high for ball one. Tall righty on the mound is Davenport. That's up high for ball two. 2-0 the count. That's outside for ball three. That's up high for ball four. So that's going to bring up Roosh. Roosh is going to step in with a runner at first base. That's up high for ball four. So 0-1 the count on Roosh. Foul ball. Santiago behind the plate in this second game. Going to the count. Breaking ball just a little bit outside. The ground ball go back over to backhanded and the throw over to Voida. So that's going to be an infield hit for Roosh. It's going to bring up Talpa. Talpa will step in with runners at first and second and nobody out here to face Davenport. That's down low. Talpa was 1 for 2 in the first game, had a base hit and hit into a 5-4-3 double play. Breaking ball breaks were way outside. There's a strike called. Patterson designated hitting, so Frankie Santiago behind the plate. There's a swing and a miss. So 2-2 the count. Just a little bit high, so 3-2 the count. Clark at second, Roosh at first. Base on balls and a base hit. Talpa at the plate. 3-2 the count on him. Fouled that away. So we'll do the 3-2 again. That's ball 4. That's going to bring up Martin. Parker Martin. Have another Martin in the lineup. Logan Martin. Logan Martin is at second base in this game for the Red Devils. So we got the Blue Devils and the Red Devils battling here. The Blue Devils took the first game 14-1 in 5 innings. So it'll bring up Parker Martin. He was 0 for 2 in the first game, lined out on a nice play by Basler. He fouled that one away and then grounded out to Basler at second. 0 for 2 in the first game. That's down low. So the base is full of Red Devils. The Blue Devils trying to yield as few runs as possible here. There's a swing and a miss. Third baseman Parker Martin at the plate. There's a ground ball, just gets a piece of it. And a strikeout. So 1 out now with the bases loaded. That's going to bring up Shepard. Carson Shepard, the shortstop. He was 0 for 2 in the first game, had a fly out and a ground out. There's a strike called. And that's a little bit up. Check swing rule to ball. There's a strike right through there. That misses just a little bit outside. Three and two the count now. Just a little bit outside. So a base on balls. And the first run of the game is scored on a walk. So that'll bring up Colin Godfrey. Misses low and outside. Check swing, that's up high. 2-0 the count. Bases loaded, 2-0 the count. 1 run in on a base on balls with a walk. There's a swing and a miss of that pitch. So Godfrey out in front of that one. 2-1 the count. There's a foul ball down the right left field line and out of play. So 2-2 the count. So a strikeout or a ground ball right at somebody here would be good for the double play. There's a swing and a miss for the strikeout. So a walk, a base hit, a walk, a strikeout, a base hit, a base on balls for a run and a strikeout. And that's going to bring up Logan Martin. He's going to play second base in this second game. He did not hit in the first game. There's a breaking ball that was a strike right across there. 0-1 the count. Stays outside with that breaking ball. So 1-1 the count. Comes the 1-1 pitch. That's up high. Two and one the count now. There's a foul ball. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases full of Red Devils. 1 run in the inning thus far. And that's up high. So 3-2 the count, so the runners will be off and running with the pitch. And that's up high for ball 4. So 2 runs in the inning thus far. Going to get a visit to the mound. We will see if any changes are made. I'm guessing Coach will just try and settle him down a bit and say, hey, let's make these guys hit the ball instead of giving them runs on base on balls, and we'll see what happens. So 2 runs in. The bases are still loaded, 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Larson Lott. He's going to be the catcher in this second game for the Red Devils of Allen. Lott did not have an at-bat in the first game. He'll step in with the bases loaded and 2 outs. 2 runs in thus far. There's a breaking ball right through there. 0-1 the count on the catcher, Larson Lott. Another breaking ball right through there, same spot. 0-2 the count. Foul ball back into the net. Heater high and inside. He fought it off. So we'll do the 0-2 again. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. So the Red Devils pick up 2 runs on 1 hit. We go to the top of the 2nd inning. The Red Devils of Allen leading 2-0. We'll be back. There's a fair ball down the right field line. Way to have gone to second base. Cruises in with a double down the right field line. Jace had 3 hits and 5 RBI, 3 for 4 with a couple of home runs in the first game. That's going to bring up Patterson. Patterson will be the DH in this second game. There's a strike on the inside corner. Patterson was 1 for 3 with a home run in the first game, also had a walk. There's a ball headed into left field. Gonna hold Woida at third. So back-to-back base hits. We've got the Blue Devils with runners at first and third, and that's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks will step in with runners at the corners. Dirks was 1 for 3 in the first game, had a base hit, popped out, and reached on an error. And the bunt is going to stop on the line. It's a fair ball. Kind of stepped out on the foot. We're going to have the umpire come in from second base to give some information. Ruled a fair ball. Ruled a foul ball. Umpire in the outfield thought that it hit the bat while in the box again. So runners at first and third. Squares to bunt again. Pulls back, so 1-1 the count. On the left fielder, Marcus Dirks. Squares to bunt. Has it down this time, and he's out at first, but it will go as a sack bunt. It's going to bring up Frankie Santiago. So 2-1 now the score after that sack bunt. Santiago's catching the second game. Santiago starts the day batting .296. Switch hitting catcher. Swing and a miss of that pitch. Leave the count to be a 1-2. There it is. There's a ball headed to deep right field. On the run is the right field, and that's going to be a home run. So Santiago rides it out to right field for a 2-run home run. Makes it now a 3-2 game here in the top of the second inning. So that'll bring up Pachorik. Pachorik will step in with 1 out. Pachorik was 1 for 4 in the first game, but had a couple of RBI. There's a strike called. Had a bunt that yielded a run, and then he grounded out to second base. Did a nice job of hitting it to the right side. So he had a couple of RBI and 1 for 2. There's a pop-up on the right-hand side, and that ball's going to come down. The catcher can't get out to make the play, and the first baseman, Talpa, comes in fighting the sun. So new life for Pachorik. So only 1 for 4 in the first game, but still very productive with a bunt RBI and a ground out RBI. There's a ball out in front of that. Fouled it away. Pachorik, the right fielder. That's up high, and he goes ahead and tomahawks it. And on the run is the left fielder, Roosh, and makes a nice play for the out. That's going to bring up Brady Kern. Kern was 1 for 3 in the first game, had a 2 RBI double in that game. Want to know the count? There's a curveball in the dirt. There's a strike right through there. 2-1 the count. Ground ball going to be off the glove of the pitcher for a base hit. So back to the top of the order and Goldbeck. Goldbeck flew out to left field his first time up. Goldbeck is from Kansas City, Kansas. 2 outs, runner at first now. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. Owen won the count on the shortstop for the Blue Devils, Gary Goldbeck. There's a ball headed into right field. So a base hit for Goldbeck. That's going to bring up Basler. Basler's from Lansing, Kansas. He'll step in with 2 outs and 2 on. Low and inside, 1-0 the count. Nice job by Lott on that ball. Low and inside. He's the catcher of the second game for the Red Devils. The flying ball to deep left field. And that's going to be taken care of by the left fielder, Roosh. So the Blue Devils get 3 runs on 5 hits. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Blue Devils leading 3-2. I'll be back. All right, here we go to the bottom of the second inning. Ayers, Clark, and Roosh scheduled up for the Red Devils. Davenport back to the mound for the Blue Devils. Ayers was 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the first game. There's a foul ball right back above us. There's a strike on the outside corner. So quickly on to the count on Colton Ayers, the center fielder. Breaking ball headed into left field. And taking care of that is Dirks. So back to the top of the order, and Clark. He walked his first time up in this one. Breaking ball stays outside. Dirks, Kern, Pachorik across the outfield. Mervosh, Goldbeck, Basler, Wada across the infield. Santiago behind the plate. And Mason Davenport, there's a strike. So 1-1 count. just misses. 2-1 the count. Sunshiny day. Sun is pretty warm today. In the mid-60s here. Breaking ball stays outside. 3-1 the count. There's ball 4. So Clark has walked both of his at bats today. That's going to bring up the left fielder, Roosh. He had a base hit. Goldbeck with the dive and got to the ball, but was an infield hit. That's up high for ball 1. 1-0 the count. 1-0 the count on Roosh. Foul ball back to the screen, evens out the count. 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on, 1 run lead by the Blue Devils. And that sweeps just a little bit outside. Comes the 2-2. Down low for ball 3. 3-2 the count. There's a ball headed right back up the middle. It's going to be a base hit. So 2 on and 1 out to Anthony Talpa, the first baseman. So Roosh with 2 inning back-to-back hits up the middle. Talpa reached on a base on balls his last time up. Sweeps outside, 1-0 the count. Davenport on the mound. 1-0 the count. There's a swing and a miss of that pitch. So 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Down a little bit low. 2-1 the count. Ball hit into deep right field. It's going to be taken care of in right field by Pachorik. And it's going to be safe at second base. So runners each move up 1 slot on the fly ball to right field. It's going to bring up Parker Martin. He's the third baseman in this game. Martin struck out his first time up. He'll be up there with 2 outs and 2 on. There's a strike, catches the outside corner with the breaking ball. Sweeping curveball breaks back into the strike zone. It's a ground ball at Basler. Basler's up with it and over to Woida for the 4-3 ground out. So no runs on one hit. We go to the top of the third inning. Blue Devils leading 3-2. I'll be back. All right, Mervosh, Woida, and Patterson scheduled up. Mervosh is from Lenexa, Kansas. He'll step in to lead things off here in the top of the third. The high fly ball to center field. Center fielder got plenty of look at that, and Ayers takes care of that for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Woida. Woida had a double down the right field line his first time up. Woida is from Lincoln, Nebraska. He steps in with one out and nobody on. That's down low for ball one. 1-0 the count. Jack Bland on the mound for the Red Devils facing the Kansas City, Kansas Blue Devils. That's up high. 2-0 the count. Roosh, Ayers, Godfrey left to right across the outfield. Martin, Shepard, Martin, Talpa across the infield. Lott behind the plate with Bland on the mound. There's a strike right down the heart of the plate. 2-1. That's down low. Three and one the count now on Woida. Strike two call. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Comes the 3-2. There's a ball slapped down the left field. That's going to be out to Roosh. And Roosh takes care of that behind the pole there. It's going to bring up Patterson. Patterson will step in with 2 outs and nobody on. Patterson is from Auburn, Kansas. That's a little bit low for ball one. He had a base hit into the left field corner, but not deep enough to get a double out of it. It's a ball that's headed into shallow left field, and the shortstop, Shepard, goes out to take care of that. So 3 up, 3 down on 3 fly balls. They're in the top of the third. We go to the bottom of the third. Blue Devils leading 3-2. I'll be back. Pitching change being made by the Blue Devils. Number 21, Will Bartkowski from Seneca, Kansas, comes in to take over for Mason Davenport. Shepard, Godfrey, and Logan Martin scheduled. Shepard walked, had an RBI in that walk in the first inning. Swing and a miss of that first pitch. Bartkowski, a side armor. Tall side armor at that. It's outside. 1-1 the count on the shortstop, Carson Shepard. So ball headed at the shortstop. Goldbeck's up with that. And over to Woida for the 6-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Godfrey. Colin Godfrey, he's in right field in this game. In the first inning, he struck out. There's a strike right through there. There's a ground ball headed at Basler. Basler's in, grabs it, tosses it over to Woida for the 4-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Logan Martin, the second baseman. He also walked in the first inning to get an RBI. Those were the two runs in the bottom of the second scored by the Red Devils. That's inside for ball one, 1-0 the count. So bases loaded, base on balls yielded the two runs in the bottom of the first inning. Blue Devils came back with 3 in the top of the second. There's a breaking ball right across there for a strike called. 1-1 the count. 2 outs now. Bottom of the third inning action. Foul ball back and out of play. 1-2 the count now. Sunshiny day, Iola, Kansas. The Allen Red Devils hosting the KCK Blue Devils. That's up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 runs and 2 hits thus far for the Red Devils. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. So a couple of ground outs and a strikeout in the bottom of the third. No runs on, no hits. We go to the top of the fourth inning. Blue Devils leading 3-2. I'll be back. Stay with me. Thanks for joining me. All right, to the top of the fourth we go. strike called. Marcus Dirks, Santiago, and Pachorik scheduled up. There's a ball headed into right field. That's going to be taken care of by the right fielder, Godfrey, for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago had a 2-run home run his last time up. Santiago is from Calle, Puerto Rico. There's a strike on the outside corner. 1-2 the count. It's a ground ball at the third baseman. Martin's up with it. And over to Talpa for the 5-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Pachorik. There's a strike right through there. Pachorik is from Aurora, Colorado. He flew out to left field his first time up. There's a heater on the outside corner for strike 2. Breaking ball stays with it. It's going to be cut off by the third baseman. So a nice play by Martin over to Talpa for the 5-3 ground out. So a fly out and a couple of ground outs. We got to go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Blue Devils leading 3-2. I'll be back. All right, to the bottom of the fourth we go. Lott, Ayers, and Clark scheduled up for the Red Devils. Lott struck out his first time up. He'll face Bart Koski for the first time. There's a foul ball out in front of that one. Hits a high chopper down by the coach at first base. At third base. Swing and a miss. So quickly 0-2 the count. On the catcher, Larson Lott. And a foul tip into the glove and held by Santiago. That's going to bring up Colton Ayers, the center fielder. He flew out to left field his first time up. He'll step in with one out here in the bottom of the fourth inning with nobody on. That's down low, 1-0 the count. There's a ground ball up the middle. Basler's going to take care of that and toss it over to Woida for the 4-3 ground out. So back to the top of the order. And Cole Clark. He's walked twice in this one. He'll step in with 2 outs and nobody on. Clark led the first game off with a home run. He's had a strikeout and 2 walks combined in both games since then. Swing and a miss of that pitch. 1-1 the count, 2 outs. Blue Devils leading 3-2 here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 9-inning scheduled game. There's a strike called. Just a little bit outside. That right there is the difference between the curveball and the fastball getting back to the strike zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 runs and 2 hits in this one for the Red Devils. That one's outside again. So 3-2 the count. That stays outside for ball 4. So Clark walks 3 times in this one. That's going to bring up Garrett Roosh. He's the left fielder in this one. He has back-to-back base hits in the first and second inning. He's up here in the fourth inning with 2 outs and a runner at first base after that 2-out walk. That's outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. It's outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count now. Misses outside, 3-0. Bartkowski on in relief of Davenport. There's a strike right through there. 3-1 the count. And strike 2. So 3-2 the count. Roosh thought he had a walk there, but it caught the top edge of the zone ruled by the umpire. And a swing and a miss for the strikeout. So no runs on, no hits. And we go to the top of the 5th inning. Blue Devils leading 3-2, 9-inning scheduled game. The first game was a 7. The Blue Devils won it 14-1 in 5 innings. I'll be back. All right, to the top of the fifth we go. Kern, Goldbeck, Basler scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Fouls that one away, does Kern. Brady had a base hit his first time up. Deflected off the glove of the pitcher and rerouted the ball to where the shortstop did not have an opportunity. 2-1 the count here on the center fielder, Brady Kern. In the dirt. So 3-1 the count as Kern leads off the top of the fifth inning. There's a ball headed into left field. So he takes that 3-0 ball, 3-1 ball, and rips it into right. So back to the top of the order. And Gary Goldbeck, he flew out to left field and had a base hit. A high fly ball on the left side, out into shallow left field, and the left fielder, Roosh, comes in and says, I'll take care of that, and he does. That's going to bring up Basler. Basler will step in with 2 outs. 1 out, runner at first base. That's down low. Basler grounded out unassisted to Talpa at first base and then flew out to Roosh in left. His 2 at-bats in this second game. There's a ball headed to left field. And that's going to be taken care of by Roosh. So back-to-back fly balls to Roosh. And that's going to bring up Jackson Mervosh. Mervosh in this game, he's been out on fly balls to Ayers in center field, both at bats in this one. Jack Bland back for his 5th inning of work in this one. He and the Red Devils just trail 3-1. There's a throw over to first. Nothing going on over there. Kern at first, Mervosh at the plate. There's a strike and the delayed steal, and going to be caught stealing, and out is Kern. So the Blue Devils get a hit, but it's erased for the 3rd out on the caught stealing. So Mervosh will be back to the plate when we come back the next round for the Blue Devils. So we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Blue Devils leading the Red Devils 3-2. I'll be back. All right, pitching change has been made by the Blue Devils. Number 50, Bryson Vaughter, comes in to pitch. He's from Topeka, Kansas. He'll face Tulpa, Martin, and Shepard if there's no pinch hitters. Tulpa has walked and flew out to Pachorik in right. Takes ball 1-0 the count. To the first baseman, Anthony Tulpa. Chases after that high heater, mad at himself there. 1-1 the count. There's a ball out in front of that. So hit by a pitch is Tulpa. That's going to bring up Parker Martin. Martin has struck out and grounded out to second base with Basler. He'll step in with runner at first and nobody out. Swing and a miss of that pitch. Squares to ball is dead. Not sure what that went off of, but it went off the umpire, but he's calling timeout, not letting the runner go. Not sure what happens if it's a strike or a ball or a hit. So he's calling 1 and 2. Coach going to visit with Parker Martin just a moment. Not sure if he's questioning what happened or just giving the umpire a little bit of time with the ball clipping off him a bit. Not exactly sure on that. But nonetheless, he's coming back to hit. Having trouble keeping the sun off of my computer to, one, be able to see it. It's a nice play by Mervosh to grab that and throw over to first, but that's going to be a base hit for Martin. That's going to bring up Carson Shepard. Nobody out, runners at the corners for the Red Devils. Shepard has a walk that had an RBI and grounded out to the shortstop. His 2 at-bats. That's up just a little bit high. Vaughter on in relief of Bartkowski and Davenport. Hard hit ground ball right at Goldbeck here. Get the double play, give up the run. There the runner goes, and that's going to be a stolen base by Parker Martin. That misses for a ball. That's way high and outside. ball backing out of play. There's ball 4. So that's going to bring up Godfrey. Godfrey has struck out and grounded out to Basler at second base. Bases are full of Red Devils here. Lefty versus lefty in favor of the Blue Devils. The analytics say, and there's a foul ball right back at me. Believe I could have caught that one had there been no net. 0-1 the count. One and one the count. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 1-2 the count. Breaking ball headed into right field. It's going to tie the score right there with a sac fly by Godfrey to tie things up. So Godfrey does a job to tie things up. Three to three now with one out, runners at the corners. That's going to bring up Logan Martin. Going to be a throw over to first base, back in safely over there. Martin reached on a base on balls that was an RBI and struck out his 2 at-bats in this one. There's a swing and a miss of the high heater. All tied up at 3 here in the bottom of the 5th inning, 9-inning scheduled game. Throw back over to first. Even got the fans in the stands helping with the back call. That's up high. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 run in here to tie things up. There's a swing and a miss. So the stolen base. Down at second is Shepard. So 1-2 the count. One and two the count, 1 out. And the high heater for the strikeout. So that'll bring up Larson Lott, the catcher. He has struck out twice. The second one, foul tip into the glove and held by Santiago. He steps in with 2 outs now. Runners at second and third. Swing and a miss of that heater. Another curveball breaking in on the hands and fouled away. Swing and a miss. So 1 run in on a sac fly to tie this thing up, and we go to the top of the 6th inning. We're tied up at 3. 9-inning scheduled game. I'll be back. All right, Jack Bland back for another inning of work. Mervosh, Woida, and Patterson scheduled up. That's up high for ball 1. Mervosh has been out on fly balls both times in this game to Ayers in center field. There's a strike called 1-1 the count. Rouge Godfrey left across the outfield. Martin Shepard, Martin Talpa, the infield, and Lott behind the plate. That ball called a strike. Curveball just catches the inside corner. That's outside. So 2-2 the count. Mervosh, the third baseman. Just fouls that one away and gets a piece of it to stay alive. Little defensive swing there. That's high and inside. Fouls that one away. Fouls another one away. Comes the 2-2, and that's down low, 3-2. I missed a ball there, so a base on balls worked by several foul balls there with Mervosh. That's going to bring up Woida. Woida's had a double and a fly out to left field in this one. He'll step in with a runner at first base and nobody out. Foul ball backing out of play, hit it over to the softball field. Softball practice is over. Last couple of years I've been down here, as I mentioned before, have been softball games going on at the same time. There's a high fly ball to left field. Over to take care of that is the left fielder, Roosh. So Mervage has to stay at first. That's going to bring up Patterson. Patterson's had a base hit and popped out to the shortstop in shallow left field. It's a little bit low. Nice job by the third baseman. And it's going to be a double play. So Martin to Talpa for the 5-4-3 double play to get him out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the sixth, all tied up. I'll be back. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the sixth inning. Vaughter back for another inning of work. Ayers, Clark, and Roosh scheduled up for the Red Devils. Ayers fouls that one back. He's been out on a fly to left field and grounded out to second base in this one. That ball's a little bit high. 1-1 the count. That sail's just a little bit low, so 2-1 the count. That's up just a bit. So 3-1 the count now. All tied up at 3, bottom of the sixth inning. That's outside for ball 4. That's going to bring up Clark. Clark has walked all 3 at-bats in this one. He had a home run and a strikeout in the first one. Runner at first. There's going to be a throw over and back in safely is Colton Ayers. There, the bunt is nicely done by Basler. He lets the runner get by. I think he would have been better to try and make contact with that runner because he has to have free and clear to that, but the 4-3 ground out. A very nice play by Basler. That's going to bring up Roosh. Roosh has a couple of base hits and a strikeout in this one so far. There's a strike called. And a ground ball. Mervosh takes care of that. And a long throw and the tag. So Mervosh takes the hopper behind the bag, loads up the rifle, and sends a little bit of a throw awry over there for the 5-3 ground out with the tag. That's going to bring up Anthony Talpa, the first baseman. He's walked, flew out to right field, and been hit by a pitch. Swing and a miss of that first pitch. All tied up at 3. That's a little bit low. One and one the count. 2 outs now. Runner at second base. Leadoff walk by Ayers. There's a ball headed at Basler. Comes and gets a good hop. Tosses it over to Woida for the 4-3 ground out. We go to the 7th inning. All tied up at 3. I'll be back. All right, to the top of the 7th we go. Dirk, Santiago, and Pachorik scheduled up. That first pitch to Dirks was high. Squares to bunt, pulls back, and it's ruled a ball. 2-0 the count. Dirks has a sac bunt and a fly out to Godfrey in right field. That's a little bit low for 3-0 the count. On the left fielder, Marcus Dirks. There's a strike called. And another strike. So 3-2. From 3-0 to 3-2 we are. Bland still on the mound for the Red Devils, giving them some innings here. There's a ball headed into left field. That's going to be a base hit. So a leadoff base hit for Dirks. So that's going to bring up Santiago. Frankie Santiago. We're going to get a timeout called. Maybe a pitching change. Santiago scheduled to come up. Bland has gone all the way in this one so far. See if maybe he has reached a number. See if the pitching change is going to be made or not. 3-3 game, 9-inning scheduled game. We are in the top of the 7th. So Bland is going to stay for the time being. Santiago has a 2-run home run and grounded out to the third baseman. Third baseman Martin in on the grass. That's outside. He is a couple of steps on the grass. And then he's marching forward on the pitch a little bit here. There's a high fly ball to center field, and that's going to be out of here. And Santiago unties the game with a 2-run home run to center field. So Santiago unties the game here. Making it 5-3. That pitch to Pachorik is a ball. Pachorik's been out on a fly ball to left and grounded out to the third baseman. There's a strike right through there, 1-1 the count. So the Blue Devils take the 5-3 lead on the home run by Santiago. There's a breaking ball, swing and a miss, so 1-2 the count. On Tanner Pachorik, the right fielder. Waits and fouls that curveball away. So a base hit and a 2-run home run. Blue Devils retake the lead. There's a ball that Pachorik just slaps into right center for the base hit. So that'll bring up Kern. Kern has 2 base hits in this one, an infield hit and then a hit to left. Squares to bunt, takes down low for ball 1. Want to know the count. There's the bunt. And on the tag. So the sac bunt by Brady Kern. Back to the top of the order in Goldbeck. We're going to get a pitching change now. It's a nice job by Jack Bland to eat up some innings. But the Blue Devils have scored 2 here in the 7th to take a 5-3 lead. We'll get the change. We'll be back. All right, pitching change has been made. Ethan Payne comes on to replace Jack Bland, righty on the mound. Back to the top of the order, and Goldbeck. He'll be up there with the runner at second base and one out. Andy swings and misses for the strike. The ball gets past the pitcher, and Pachoric moves over to third. Infield in at the grass. Martin Shepard, Martin Talpa. There's a ball headed into left field, and that's going to be an RBI base hit for Goldbeck. It's going to make it 6-3. And hit on the knee is Basler. So that's going to bring up Mervosh. Blue Devils have plated 3 in the inning. Makes it 6-3. Mervosh comes to the plate. He's been out on fly balls to center field twice and walked once. There's a strike at the belt. 0-1 the count on the third baseman, Jackson Mervosh. One ball, one strike, one out. Runner goes, and that's fouled back and away, so we'll have the runners retreat. Basler heads back to first, and Goldbeck head back to second. Gonna turn back to second, nothing going on back there. There's a ball headed at the shortstop. He's up with it and the return throw. So Shepard to Logan Martin over to Talpa for the 6-4-3. But the Blue Devils get 3 runs on 3 hits. A home run by Santiago gets 2 of those. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Blue Devils leading 6-3. All right, Vaughter back to the mound for another inning of work. Martin, Shepard, and Godfrey scheduled up. And ball one. Breaking ball's going to be fouled up over the top of us. So 1-1 the count. Martin, Shepard, and Godfrey scheduled up for the Red Devils. There's another foul ball back and out of play. Vaughter back for another inning of work for the Blue Devils. Bottom of the seventh inning. Blue Devils up 6-3. In the dirt. The ball headed at goalback. He's up with it and over to Woida for the 6-3 ground out. It's going to bring up Shepard. Shepard has 2 walks in the game. One of them yielded a run, and on the other one he had a stolen base. Sails outside a bit, 1-0 the count. Swing and a miss. Low and inside. That's low and inside. So 3-1 the count. Dirk, Kern, Pachorik across the outfield. Mervosh, Golbeck, Basler, Woida. Santiago behind the plate. Vaughter on relief for Bartkowski and Davenport. And that ball's going to be into the dugout. So 3-2 the count now. Foul ball back to the screen. Carson Shepard, the shortstop, earns another pitch with that foul ball. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. That's going to bring up Godfrey. Godfrey is the right fielder. Colin Godfrey. He struck out, grounded out to the second baseman, Basler, and had a sac fly. Sac fly was the single run in the 5th. Foul ball back to the screen, so 1-1 the count. A little bit low. There's a strike called. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Six-3 lead for the Blue Devils. Swing and a miss. So a ground out, a punch out, and a strikeout in the bottom of the 7th. We go to the top of the 8th. Blue Devils up 6-3. I'll be back. All right, to the top of the 8th we go. Blue Devils lead 6-3. Wojda, Patterson, and Dirks scheduled up. Wojda takes down low ball 1. Wojda had a double down the right field line and a couple flyouts to left field to Rouge. There's a ball headed to the gap in right center and is going to be out as well. So Wojda with the lead-off home run here in the 8th. To give the Blue Devils an additional run lead. Makes it 7-3. That's going to bring up Patterson. Patterson had a base hit, a pop out, and hit into a 5-4-3 double play. Turns on that one and fouls it down the left field line. That's inside. 1-1 the count on the designated hitter Brady Patterson. He was the catcher in the first game. Becomes the designated hitter in the second game, and Santiago's behind the plate. There's a ball headed to right center, and that's going to be taken care of by Ayers. That'll bring up Dirks. Dirks has a sac bunt, a fly out, and a base hit to left field. He'll step in with 1 out and nobody on. All the way back to the screen. There's a strike outside corner at the knees. That's way high and outside. Check swing. A ball. 3-1 the count. It's a little bit low for ball 4. So Dirks heads down to first base. 1 out. Runner at first. That's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago has 2 two-run home runs and a ground out to Martin at third base in this one. There's a ball headed into the corner, but that's going to be foul. Once you get down the foul lines, there's only about 6 to 8 feet of green grass, even foul down there. Fence is really tight to the line once you get out into the outfield. There's a strike ruled on that check swing. So 0-2 the count on Santiago. That's outside. That's up high. So 2-2 the count now. From 0-2 to 2-2. In the dirt. So Dirk started to go, then didn't when the ball bounced away from the catcher. He went ahead and took second. So from 0-2 to 3-2 now on Santiago. In the dirt for ball 4. So Pechoric will now come up. Pechoric's been out on a fly to left, to ground out to Martin at third base, and had a base hit to right center. There's a strike outside half of the plate at the knees. There's a ball headed to left field, but that's out in front of that, and that's going to be foul. Seven to 3, the lead. Blue Devils won the first game 14-1 in 5. There's a ground ball headed to the backhand side. So Pechoric will reach on the fielder's choice. That'll bring up Brady Kern. And the runner down to second is Pechoric. That's high and outside. Kern has a couple of base hits and then a 3 ground out and assisted to the first baseman with the tag. There's a ball headed into right field, and that's going to be a base hit and headed for home. So 2 runs score on that base hit. It's going to make it 9-3. So back to the top of the order. Goldbeck squares to bunt, pulls back and takes the ball. He's had a fly out to left, a base hit, a fly out to left, and a base hit for an RBI. So 2 for 4 with an RBI for Goldbeck. Thought he was going to be hit by a pitch, but it did not get him. So Kern moves down to second base on the wild pitch. Pass ball, actually. That's a strike called. That's a pretty high strike right there. Nonetheless, ruled a strike. 9-3 the score. Top of the 8th inning action. That's outside. There's a ball headed into right field. It's going to be an RBI base hit for Goldbeck. So Goldbeck with another base hit and an RBI. It's going to make it 10-3. That's high and outside to Basler. Basler has grounded out, been out on flies to left field twice and been hit by a pitch. That's down low for ball 2. Going to get a visit to the mound. We'll see if there's any changes. Blue Devils have 4 runs in the inning. Make it 10-3. I'll be back. Foul ball. Just a little bit outside the bag at first base. So we'll do it again. There's a strike called on the outside corner, the lower level of the strike zone right there. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. So the Blue Devils get 4 runs on 3 hits. Makes it 10-3. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Blue Devils leading 10-3. I'll be back. Pitching change has been made by the Blue Devils. Number 24, Caleb Reed, comes in the game. He is from Olathe, Kansas. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for the Red Devils. Kyle Clowino. And a strike. Guys, how's his last name pronounced? Clowino? Clevino, thank you. Clevino, and that's a strike on the inside corner. Kyle Clevino pinch hitting, and he fouls that one away. Pinch hitting for Logan Martin. And a strikeout called. Going to have another pinch hitter. This is Armando Navarro. He played in the first game, but is just now coming in for a hit here. It's a ground ball at Goldback. He's up with it, and over to Woida for the 6-3 ground out. It's in the dirt there. Colton Ayers, I believe. I do not believe there's a pinch hitter for him. Want to know the count on Ayers. So 2-0 to Ayers. 2 outs now. Punch out and a ground out. There's a strike catch to the outside corner, 2-1. Ayers has been out on a fly and a ground out and walked in this game, 0 for 2. Swing and a foul. 2-2 the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning action. Blue Devils with a 10-3 lead. There's a foul ball over the top of us. So Colton Ayers, the center fielder, rewards that foul ball to get another pitch from Caleb Reed on in relief of Bryson Vaughter. And just runs out of a little bit of room down there. Santiago's telling him he's got room, but the fence kind of sneaks up from the backside down there, and he ran out of room. So we'll do the 2-2 again. Bottom of the 8th inning action, Blue Devils leading. There's a ground ball to the other side of the field now. Still a sunshiny day. Wind starting to pick up a little bit. That's inside. So 3-2 the count now. On the center fielder, Colton Ayers. So back to the top of the order, and Cale Clark. Clark has walked 3 times and grounded out to second base to Peyton Basler. Caleb Reed on in relief for the Blue Devils, bottom of the 8th inning action. It's a ground ball. Backhand by Woida. That's going to be an infield hit. So that'll bring up Roosh. Roosh is the left fielder. He's had a couple of base hits, a strikeout, and a ground out to Mervosh. The ground out to Mervosh was behind the bag. The throw was off, and the tag was made by Woida. Ruled a ball on that check swing. Runners at first and second. 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning action. It's down low for a ball. 2-0 they count. Comes the 2-0 from Reed. There's a strike called inside corner at the belt. Roosh not happy with that call. Probably going to stand and make him, have him get back in, but the umpire was a little bit looser with that one than he has been. There's a ground ball headed at Goldbeck. Goldbeck tosses it to Basler for the fielder's choice. 6-4. So no runs on, no hits for the Red Devils. We go to the top of the 9th inning. I'll be back. Guys, Padron or Padron? Padron, thank you. All right, to the top of the 9th we go. Pitching change for Allen. Anthony Padron comes to the mound. A lefty will take over on the mound for Ethan Payne and Jack Bland. Mervosh, Wida, and Patterson scheduled up. Mervosh steps in. He'll lead things off. He's been out on a couple of flies, a walk, and a 6-4-3. Strike is called. It's a ground ball headed at the third baseman. He's up with it and over to first. So Martin over to Talpa for the 6-3 ground out. That's going to bring up Wida. Wida has a double, a couple flyouts, and a solo home run in this one. There's a strike right through there. The fly ball headed down the left field line. And that's going to be a foul ball. Couldn't quite keep it in the between the foul poles there. So 0-2 the count on Wida. There's a ball headed into right field, so Wida with the 2-strike base hit. That's going to bring up Brady Patterson. Patterson will step in with a runner at first base and one out. There's a strike right through there. Patterson has a base hit, a pop out, a 5-4-3 double play, and a fly out to center field in this one. So 1 for 4 in this second game. That's in the dirt. Zach Henry now behind the plate, I believe. One and two the count. One out, runner at first base. The runner's behind the pole for you. That's down low. 2 and 2 the count. There's a foul ball out in the right side and room to take care of that. That's taken care of by Anthony Talpa. He's done a nice job over there today. That's going to bring up Dirks. That's a little bit high. Dirks has a sac bunt, a fly out to right field, a base hit, and then reached on a base on balls. It's a foul ball backing out of play. Comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Foul ball backing out of play. We'll do the 1-2 again. Another foul ball. The Blue Devils with 3 in the second, 3 in the seventh, 4 in the eighth for 10. The Red Devils 2 in the first, 1 in the fifth for their 3. Blue Devils lead 10-3. Top of the ninth inning action. There's a ball headed into right field. So Dirks with the base hit. 2 out hit by Dirks. It's going to bring up Santiago, so Santiago will move over to the left side of the plate, or the right side, since the left-hander's in. Santiago is 2 for 3 with a couple of 2-run home runs. He fouls that one backing out of play. Oh, and 1 the count on Santiago. Sure, Santiago would like to hit one out here so he can say he had hit home runs in a game from both sides of the plate. There's a strike called. So 0-2 the count. His mentality is, I want to hit home runs. He's got a couple of them in this game left-handed. There's a shot into left field. That's going to be an RBI base hit for Santiago. So Santiago just strokes that into left field for an RBI. That's going to bring up Pachorik. (11-3) now, the lead. That's a little bit high. Pachorik's been out on a fly, a ground out, had a base hit, and reached on a fielder's choice. So 1 for 4 in this second game. There's a strike on the outside corner, 1-1 the count. Just a little bit outside. 2-1 the count. Anthony Padron on the mound in relief. It's a high fly ball headed to left field. In comes Roosh to take care of that for the final out of the inning. So the Blue Devils get 1 run on 3 hits. We go to the bottom of the 9th with the Blue Devils leading 11-3. I'll be back. All right, to the bottom of the 9th we go. Blue Devils leading 11-3. Caleb Reed back for another inning of work on the mound. There's a strike called. Anthony Tulpa, Parker Martin, and Carson Shepard scheduled up for the Red Devils. That's outside. Tulpa has a walk, a fly out, a hit by pitch, and a ground out to second base in this second game. There's a foul. Comes the wind in the 1-1 breaking ball in the dirt. Not chasing was Tulpa. 2-1 the count as he leads off the bottom of the 9th. There's a ball hitted, go back. He gets the good hop and over to Woida. for the 6-3 ground out. That'll bring up Parker Martin. He's had a strikeout, a ground out, a base hit, a stolen base, and another ground out. Swing and a miss of that pitch. Way out in front of it. It's a foul ball backing out of play. So quickly 0-2 on Parker Martin, the third baseman. Foul ball right back at us. That's up high. 1-2 the count. Little down low. 2-2 the count now. Foul ball out of play. We'll do the 2-2 again. The wind in the 2-2. The ball headed down the left field line. And foul ball, but caught by Dirks. So that'll bring up Shepard. Red Devils down to their last out. They trail 11-3. Here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. There's a foul ball back to the screen. Shepard had an RBI base on balls, a ground out, a walk with a stolen base, and was punched out his last time up on a called third strike. It's a breaking ball called a strike. Thought that might be ruled a little bit high, but the sweeping of the break ball gets it back to the strike zone. So down to their last strike for the time being. And a swing and a miss for the strikeout. So the Blue Devils take 2 this afternoon from the Red Devils. They take this one 11-3. They took the first one 14-1 in 5 innings. So the Blue Devils take 2. We'll be back at KCK to do our broadcast from up there on Saturday. Thanks, everyone, for listening. That's the final for today. Thanks for watching and or listening. If you'd like to donate, go to 4ts.com. There's a donation page there. Feel free to. If you don't, that's fine, too. We appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.